Good afternoon. Welcome to Options Tender. It's Monday, July 8th, 2024. Welcome, everybody. We're going to go through SPY on multiple time frames. We're going to focus in on the pathway for a top. I do believe that a top is forming. We can say that the top could be in here today. I don't think that's likely. I think we have one more area to go to before a top is, and then and before a top is in, and then I'm gonna match that up with time relationships, and we're going to give you a pathway to look for an impulse wave down. Before we go through all that little maintenance, if you're new here, go down to that bottom right hand corner, hit that Option Center logo, and subscribe. And don't forget to like the video. All that helps keep this channel growing. And if you we're doing this midday, so about 12:46 Eastern Standard Time. If you want to get these videos intraday, then consider becoming a supporter. It's only 99 cents. So thank you for that, and let's get down to business. We'll also go around the horn on the 65, the VIX, IWM, QQQ, and maybe DIA. All right, so here we have SPY on the monthly time frame. We had the 2000 top coinciding with the top at 2021, and we're there again now. Market's looking strong. It's in a strong position, but we have divergence. We're on that line here. If things work out the way I think it's going to, I think we're going to get a nice doji or reversal candle on this. And I mapped this out on the lower time frame. This works perfectly on every time frame, including time and price relationships. So this is a very important video to me. And I think this map is highly probable. And I'll also just note when we suggest this projection might be wrong. So we're on this trend line, and we should see a nice wick by the very end of the month, the last week of the month. All right, so here's not much more to say about this. We know that this is in a bullish posture. We know that the 8 EMA down to there, we're probably in the impulse move that I suggest that will come into the beginning of August. Beginning to mid-August, we'll probably test this consolidation area here, and that'll coincide with the 8 EMA. That'll be our initial move, okay? And then we'll look for a lower high and a continuation. The 20 moving average suggests that we're in an uptrend, okay? So the trend is up, momentum's up. I do think we're going to test that, and then our next spot will be this 20-week moving average within time. It's going to take some time. On the weekly time frame, and again, I'm not showing all those divergences. We have tons of divergences that are negative. We have them in the daily now, and I think we're going to make one more. So we have this channel top here that we're testing again. Can't get above it. We rejected. Nice big bullish candle to engulf these possible reversal candles. We're above it. We're testing the channel again, and I do think we test it a little bit higher one more time. Now, after we start breaking down from there, again, we have the 8 EMA, which is the momentum is up, 20 moving average on the weekly time frame. The trend is up. So why are we getting so bearish? Because we're into these major resistances. So we're going to have to start changing our mind frame if we start breaking down from these levels. And there's just no way I can be bullish. As a matter of fact, I took off most of our call plays. So we're looking for a reversal. It should be pretty choppy, shallow, and then another move up to reflect the next couple weeks. They should be riding perhaps this red candle for this week. I don't know how in the weeklies are going to end up, but we have probably a couple weekly candles that are going to ride this, or be some similar situation like this. Now, moving over to the board, if you're new here, this is our last projected target. It's around 55. It's around 560, and we're going to have this this zone of 560 to 562 going into some of these time relationships. We have the majority of them. The major one that I'm looking for. Now we do have one at 713. Okay, so 712, 713. That goes into Friday. So that's pretty big. That fits in exactly what our storyline is going to be. So remember this coming up, 713. And then later on, we're looking at the end of July. And now that's the 22nd and 29th. So this is a big cluster here. On the weekly time frame, it's hard to decipher. But there's three that fit exactly what we're looking for. Okay? So going into this 162, I think we're going to hit it. Price has been strong. It's showing strength up into this resistance. It's going to be a hard sell for us. Okay, we're gonna put on all sorts of swings. We're gonna swing into months, weeks, days, things like that. This is our next target, 560. So notice that these clusters, keep those in mind. Let's go down to the daily. Now we drew this out on, I believe, Friday. So the primary scenario, this still is what I'm looking for. Primary scenario is that we reverse today, reversal candle off of this trend line. This is a wedge that we've been filling out for quite some time. And I think it fills out a little bit more so we can get up to that 560 target, 560 to 562. Now, the time frames on this should be, in my opinion, about here. They should be about correct. Now we'll get better on the lower time frames, but somewhere around 712, that 713 that I was talking about, and then a move up into. I no longer think that the FOMC is necessarily going to be the spot where price reverses off of. I think it's going to be a week before. I think the FOMC is going to be a different catalyst that may accelerate or reverse the opposite way after initial moves. So now I'm looking at the about 522. So I'm trying to put this in the zones that we're looking for, and that's right up into that 560 area that we're talking about. So this would be the more projected, more probable situation. This is if we break down from the wedge. Price breaks down from the wedge, we have to reconsider that this move should continue to move probably into the beginning of maybe that FOMC low here. So this will be our alternate situation where FOMC, but the reason why I don't think this is the scenario, but I'm going to keep it in mind, is because of the basic impulse move. We're looking for a top, a real top. So I'm looking for an impulse move down here, if this is the scenario, and it's a lot sharper. All right, and but this is the alternate situation where we get a lower high and continue lower. I think this happens first. I think we get our target. We're too close. I think we're just going to move into it. We're not going to miss it by, we're about $6 away from it. I don't think that's the situation, and but we'll see. If we break down from the wedge, then we'll have to look at this one. All right, but for now, let's take that off. And this is what we're looking for. We're looking for some sort of choppy correction. It could be sideways, whatever the case is, into about July 12th, and a projection move into about 722 into our target. All right, that really is just completing what's happening here. So we have a structure that's a 1-2-1-2 site type look, and then we have the completion here. And I think all of this is a wave 4 complex correction, and then we have our last wave 5 here. So you could say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then 4, 5. Now, if this is the top here, then we're looking for this to break down. That'd be our alternate scenario. I'm repeating myself, so just to be thorough, and if you're just looking for the answer, right? How math books used to be, you're just looking for the answer in the back of the book. Well, then either speed this play up or just click on, zoom up to where I say it's going to be. But we're trying to educate, and we're trying to give you a pathway and how to trade this. I'm trading futures on this too. I have puts right now. I'm looking for a reversal. I'm looking for this area to hold here at 545. That was our second target there that we hit previously. I expect this to hold and to move up to this last target. This one is at 561.48. So that's in our zone, 562. Okay, so if we put this in moving average point of view, the 20 moving average, just like this area here, spiked through. The 20 simple moving average, our trend indicator, should hold, and we move up to the next target and final target. Now, with the time frame, we're in this cluster right here. All right, that's today. We have this cluster on the daily time frame. That's why this is so important for reversal here. Now I'm going to remove them since we made this video. Clean up our chart. And our next projection here for the daily time frame is around 716. Okay, so, and then after that, we'll have a couple things going on, 722 and 724. So this cluster here around 724, and it coincides with the weekly time frame. I do believe that's where our top will end up. That fits the situation perfectly. I think that's what we'll be looking for. Going to the lower time frames, we'll look for, oh, by the way, if you're new, also, in a perfect world, this is basically what we're looking at. This is a lot cleaner look. Right here, we have a expanding pattern. 1, 2, 3, 4, and wave 5 we're getting into. And this time frame, the end of July, get a reversal, end of July, boom, hit the top of this trend line once again, and I can actually expand it just a little bit more so it fits. So it's just right about there, so it's touching the wick here, and we're right on it there. So that that would actually be more appropriate for our time frame, looking at about 724 right there. See down low, 724. That would be the point where it hits the 162 extension and time-wise. So we'll be looking for that exact pathway to happen, and then a big time reversal. So once this completes, this wave 5, we're expecting an impulse wave. And so that impulse wave, it's going to be fast. It's going to be fairly relentless because we're at extraordinary highs. It's not going to be a guessing game. It's going to be impulsive. And so when that move happens, it's going to happen quickly. So that's why once we get into that 724. Now we're talking about the beginning of August where we should have a significant bounce for a wave 2, a lower high, and then continuation. Okay, so on the time projection, once we get this reversal off of here, then we'll be looking for the beginning of August cluster somewhere. I think that's around here, maybe 8.6. 8.6 should be a fast move. We'll see what kind of move we get off of there. A couple weeks for the first impulsive wave. I don't know where that's going to go yet. Might be around 530. You have good support there. Okay, so after we get our reversal, then when we get there, we'll start looking for lows in the lower time frame to fit in with just how we're doing now for the top. All right, so let's just go down to the 65. On the 65-minute, the traditional technical analysis, we're filling out this large wedge as usual. And I put the time relationships here that fit here's 723 or 724. It's going to be a day or two off. Here is the 712, 713 area. We're getting our reversal off the top here. So we're looking for some sort of low. If we're reversing up here, we're going to look for a low into 712. And that's, see, 713 is Saturday. So 712 will be Friday. So maybe we make a low into Thursday. And then Friday, we gap up or something like that. Who knows how that will happen? But look, going into the end of our trading day, if we're into these levels, especially this downer, this lower trend line of the wedge, this will be our zone. Now we have a 23% retracement at 542, and I'll look at that in the next board. But we'll be looking at time and price into this area. So if we go into Friday, into these areas here, the top of the zone, we will know that there's still a possibility maybe Friday gaps down a little bit lower to test the gap, this breakaway gap, and the trend line, and then get a nice move up. So the market loves to trick you, so don't go all in bullish here. If Thursday night we close at this area, okay, know that we could gap down from PMI or whatever's on Friday morning at 8:30 before the bell, could gap down and then gain strength. Now, after we get our reversal into this time zone, we're looking for a top, a major top into our price zone here around 560 to 562, into this time relationship around 723. Now, the whole point of the FOMC and the end of the month and the beginning of 8, we have some time factors there. So I think this impulsive move that breaks down from the wedge should really start to move in a short period of time going into FOMC, which could maybe just accelerate price lower before reversal into good support. Whatever that might be, we'll look at that later on into the beginning of August, in the first couple weeks of August. Now, looking at that from our other board, this is what it should look like. So getting our reversal now, the time factors right here. You have the 23.6 retracement of this move. That would be typical. I have the counts in here. So we have a 1-2, 1-2 that we're going into. So this low here, this is the higher degree low. This next low is what we're projecting off of. So that would be the zone 23.6. It doesn't have to get here, but this whole zone all the way down to the 382, which I think is less likely, because then we would make a lower high, a lower low, and then something else is probably happening. But we have our lower end of the wedge here as well. So this 23.6 is going to be important at the 542. It matches up with the traditional technical analysis. Also, this 200 moving average should be about that spot as well. So we have a lot happening right in this area. That's also the bottom of this in this volume here. So a lot of this trading, that's the bottom here, and that could be that this is a B, C, D, E expanding triangle, and then we get our final wave up here to the 560 area. And so that into that time relationship, and now we're getting reversal off this time relationship, so I can take these off as well, clean up our board. Okay, so down into this time relationship, back up into this one, where that's the about 723. You have a cluster there, and things do happen in between. I understand that, but these are, I'm looking for major clusters, and we have that whole cluster here. So you have 722, 723, and I believe on the daily it was 724. So on multiple time frames, and also 722, I believe on the weekly. I'd have to relook at that, but on the weekly time frame as well. So this is on all three time frames, major spot, all three time frames. Remember, the low here matched up with a weekly time frame as well. So a lot of things happening here. I think we have our major top here, and then we get our impulse wave. I put that impulse wave into these these really good support / resistance. And we use that. That was the former all-time high right here at the 0 as well. So that would be a good spot for an impulse wave down into this time factor here. We have 8.5. Okay, so right in the zone would be a wonderful, probably, geez, from that point, almost a 350 point move on SPX. Or ES, and then that'd be the 35 point move on SPY. That's a big move, impulsive within 2 weeks, 3 weeks possible. So we'll have to do more work as we get our reversals and more time clusters. But this should be a sharp move in a short period of time, being that it's an impulse. And then we should get a nice big bounce. We'll talk about that bounce later on, but a nice big bounce, and we'll talk about time relationships and how far the bounce should go later. But I do think this is highly probable. It's what I'm looking for. And remember, if we break that trend line, we break down from 23.6, we break down from this 200 moving average, break these lows and hold below, not a spike through, because this expanding triangle. So you have a low here, you have a lower low, and we'll probably get just a little bit of a wick of a lower low again for moving up. If you break all that, then we have a different scenario playing out, and we have to reconsider our game plan. All right, let's see what that would look like on the VIX. The price action today is resetting the VIX a little bit. We had a low here, and so this initial move is it just kind of it needs to gain market structure and get a higher low. Okay, a high, a low, and then move on from there. All right, this was just an initial move here. So right now we're resetting as price pretty much goes nowhere and forms a reversal candle. So once we start to hold some of these moving averages, make a market structure with higher highs and higher lows, we'll be able to start moving. I do think once price action reverses, we'll probably test this trend line again and then reject off of it. We'll get our new high into our projected 560 area in SPY, and then we'll see where VIX is at the time, and then I think we actually break out from this pattern that's forming here, which is likely another wedge. We'll probably get a slight new low here once again on VIX. It's possible. And then we'll break out going into those time frames that we're talking about. Qs. In the Qs, we're at that upper trend line as well. We have a wedge forming. And I think that's going to, this one I don't have projected out exactly the same way. But just look for reversal. And the thing is with the Qs and IWM, we're going to have to see who holds the market up. Okay, so this point could mark a sort of a top for tech in a way. I'm not saying that it won't get a new high, but tech could be really weak throughout this whole entire next move up in SPY. Or maybe tech leads it and IWM starts breaking down. We're going to have to watch those two. So that's why I'm going to play mostly SPY and go with that pathway, because we don't know how these two are going to act. Which one's going to hold? They're not both going to hold and go rampant. Otherwise, we'd get probably a much higher level if they both start moving the market. So this could be shallow and going. I'm weary to see what happens, or it could just be weaker. Okay, we have this trend line way down here with the 200. It could be weaker. It could drag the market down with it. And then, so let me take this out. I don't want you guys to use that in this since we have new information. So on the flip side, if tech is now going to start being really weak, then something has to pull the market up to that 560 zone. And then, so that means the small caps would have to take over. The structure looks like it's trying to break out from this. I know this flag isn't perfect, and you can redraw it many different ways, but it's trying to really start to move. It started today and rejected. But if this starts to really, really move for a new high, then that's probably going to drag the market while tech is weak. All right, so we'll have to keep an eye on that. You can use that as a hedge, or you can just play. Right now, I'm not hedging anything. I'm just playing SPY, just to be safe. Okay. DIA. That tried to make a breakout move right here as well in this triangulation. So it's a fake break at this point. So maybe, the Dow had its corrective move here, and it starts dragging the market lower. I don't see this. This should have kept going. Maybe this just a back test, but I see this being pretty weak. But I'm not playing this. Perhaps it takes IWM and DIA, and we gave a preview of that earlier, both of those being really strong to hold the market up while tech makes a lower high and continues to be weaker. Okay, sorry to drag this on, but those are the scenarios. We're gonna watch from the sidelines on the other major indices while SPY plays out its pathway that I think it's going to go to, and I think it's highly probable. All right, that's all I have for you today. Hope this information helps. If anything changes at all with this information, I will make a video immediately. So thanks for joining us here at Options Center. Have a wonderful day and safe trading.